welcome. This is Gently Chaotic Knits, and I'm Emily, and this is Norman, and we live in Seattle, Washington, also with my husband, Ovis, and I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome. I was hoping to zoom the camera in a little bit more so that we can get a nice and focused view, but then when Norman was willing to sit up on the couch with me today, I thought that maybe some of you might want to see him, so maybe at least for the beginning, before I start showing stuff, I can leave it a little bit zoomed out just so that we can have some nice Norm time, although maybe this is too distracting for me if I'm gonna just sit here and scratch him the whole time. I'll try to focus, but it has been a couple of weeks. I missed recording an episode last week because I was sick, so it is really, really good to be back. I'm sorry if you guys can hear some noise, some like street noise. The windows are open today. It is hot. It's very hot here in Seattle. We definitely have a heat wave right now, and it is actually inside of my house. It's 85 degrees. Outside, it's getting up into the mid-90s today. So definitely a windows open kind of day, trying to get the air circulating. I think you guys probably remember if you watched my podcast for a while, we have lived in this house for a couple years, and it has a top. You're kidding me. You want to be covered right now? I was just talking about how hot it is. Oh, okay. I will cover you, but I don't know. I feel like you're going to regret it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so those of you that have been watching for a while, I think I talked about this last summer, but we live in a house that has a upper level and a lower level, and the lower level is mostly underground. It is one of those basements that has like just the top is above ground, so we have like windows and stuff down there, but they're all at like the top of the walls. I don't know, is that a common thing? I don't know. I feel like basements are not that common in Oklahoma, where I'm from, and it's much more common here in Washington. But anyway, so we have kind of like a basement that stays really nice and cool. It's like very temperate. I guess I can zoom. Sorry, that was maybe an awkward angle. Maybe I will have to cut out the reformulating and everything there. But what was I saying? It's really nice and cool downstairs. Oh, you guys can see how like I'm warm. My face is like getting pink and I'm lightly sweaty, so I'm sorry if that's very gross to anyone. But our downstairs stays really nice and cool, and so we have a nice large space down there. That's where an office is, so he's working down there and everything. And we also have a bed down there as well, so we have been sleeping downstairs. Our normal like bedroom that we sleep in is upstairs, but this week, starting last night, we have been sleeping downstairs, and we'll keep doing that for the next couple of days because it's just been really warm. And some of you may be asking, why isn't there air conditioning? And I wish I could tell you the answer to that. I don't know. Like I mentioned, I grew up in Norman, Oklahoma, and air conditioning is super common there. And I can't remember a single building I ever went into that didn't have air conditioning in Oklahoma, and here like half the buildings, if not more, don't have air conditioning, and I don't know why. I guess it's just because it never used to get that hot here, but thank you so much to climate change. It's nice and toasty here now, and so you know, we've got summer days up in the 90s, up even to 100, and we don't have air conditioning, so but we're actually fine. We're totally fine downstairs, but the light is so much better up here. And with the windows open, it's not too bad, so I wanted to record the podcast in my usual spot upstairs. So that is where I am. I realized it's been like 5 minutes. I haven't even said anything about what this podcast is about, so if you're new, I promise this is not a random weather podcast or a Seattle podcast or whatever. This podcast is normally mostly about knitting. I am wearing a recently finished object, a hand-knit garment that I will talk about in a second, but yes, I'm just really happy to be back. I'm happy to be feeling well enough to be recording. Like I mentioned before, I missed last week because both my husband and I were sick, and I was definitely not feeling well enough to record record a podcast, let alone like respond to people's messages and stuff. So thank you so much. I mentioned on Instagram that I wasn't feeling well, and so many of you reached out and asked how I was feeling and, you know, sent well wishes and everything, and I'm so appreciative of that, and I did read them, and I just did not have the energy last week to respond to a lot of them because I just was not feeling great. So I really appreciate that, and I'm feeling much better now. If there's anything that you really needed a response for, you should message me again because I am feeling better now and I can definitely respond and everything now. But yeah, the one good thing about being sick, there were a couple days that I felt really bad and I couldn't respond to any messages. I was not knitting. I wasn't even knitting at all because I was just really not feeling great. But now I'm feeling much better, and as I was kind of starting to recover, I had a couple days where like all I really felt okay to do was knit. So I got quite a bit of knitting done. I have some finished objects to share with you all. I'm really excited to share those. It is what I'm calling the summer of summer tops, which, like, you might be like, yeah, Emily, of course, like summer tops always happen in the summer. But I have knit some like t-shirts and tops in the past, but most of the time I just like keep knitting sweaters through the summer. And this month I was just like really leaning in. I was like, I'm gonna knit summer tops, like t-shirts and tanks and stuff. I feel like that'll be really fun. And so I've been doing it and I've been having so much fun. I finished a couple. I have some more on the needles that I'm working on. I've been wearing the ones I knit in the past because, again, it's been like really hot here, so I'm really feeling it. I'm feeling the summer tops. So yeah, I finished a couple and I want to share them with you. So the first one I finished is this one. Let me scoot up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. This is the top. It's a dark color, and I never know how this color shows up on camera, so I'm not sure if you guys can see it super well, but the pattern is, I believe it's pronounced Melides or Melides. I think the S at the end is like an SH. I'll put the spelling up on the screen and everything, but it is the Melides top by Vert Knit, which is a new to me designer, and she's actually a fairly new designer in general. I think she only has one published pattern and has a couple in the works right now, but I saw this top and really wanted to test knit it for her. I'm really glad that I did. I think it's really fun. There are a couple of like fit things that aren't exactly how I would want, and I can talk about those too, but it is a really fun reversible knit. So it has V-neck on this side, and then it has a really cool square neck. Sorry, this is probably really annoying for me to be talking and you can't see the top of my head. Why did I just do that for like several minutes? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So this side is a V-neck, and then the back is also, you can wear it the other way, and I'll just show you on the back. Oh, I'm probably showing you my bra straps right now. I don't know. Maybe. But it has this nice like square neck as well on the back, and maybe I'll pause here and switch it around so you guys can see the other side. Okay, so here it is with the square neck side. And honestly, I thought I would prefer the V-neck side because I generally like that kind of neckline. I like that kind of shape for my shirts, but I really like the square neck side, and I'm surprised by how much I like it, so I may wear it this way more often. I don't know, I just like that you have options. But both on the front and the back, there are these kind of like faux darts, which you also probably can't see super well with my dark fabric. I don't know if this is... I don't know if this is helping at all. I feel like it's not. But there are these kind of like, maybe here you can see a little bit. There are these kind of like darts on both the front and the back that go up kind of to the bust. And there is a little bit of shaping, so it is a tiny bit smaller in circumference around the waist than it is around the bust. The yarn I used for this, I'm sorry, I don't think I have mentioned yet, is Grenouille, and it is her Merino linen blend yarn, which is a 90% merino wool and a 10% linen. And so, you know, it's not that much linen, but I still was like, oh, linen, this is a summer fiber. And it's really mostly just wool. But it still feels good, and you can see, maybe, you can see like the little kind of like lighter flecks in it, which I believe is the linen, because I think it just takes dye a little bit differently. And I think it's really fun. It's a fingering weight yarn, and it is a single ply as well. And I really enjoyed working with it. I actually have some more of this yarn in a couple other colors, and making this made me want to like cast on with the other colors that I have, because I really liked working with it. Yeah, and one thing I just wanted to mention here while I'm talking about the pattern is that this pattern actually is not completely size inclusive. So I know the definition, the standard, is a little different depending on where you look or who you ask, but this pattern does only go up to a 50-inch bust circumference, and it's intended to be worn with little to no ease. So I did speak with the designer about that a little bit, and she was really thoughtful in the way she talked about it, and I do know that she is thinking about this. This is something that's on her mind, and I don't know that she has specific plans to expand the size range for this or her other patterns right now, but I do think that it's something that she's thinking about. And yeah, I mean, this isn't an excuse for sure, but I do know that her, as well as some, it's just really common in like European designers for their size ranges to be much smaller. And I think we've seen a really good movement for more inclusive sizing, especially here in the US, for knitwear designers that are publishing and that are based in the US. And I think it's just taking some time for that to kind of, for us to encourage folks elsewhere in the world to be more inclusive in their size ranges as well. And so I know that's not even something that I have done a great job about even noticing in the past when I've knit designs from other European designers, because oftentimes those patterns are, you know, they're really cute, they're really popular, a lot of people are knitting them, and I often don't even think about it, and that's totally a privilege on my part. That's completely a privilege of mine that I don't have to think about that. And so I just wanted to, I didn't mean for this to be like a whole conversation about it. I want you guys to know where I stand. Of course, my published designs, I do try to be as inclusive as I can, and my most recent design has sizing that will accommodate folks from like a 28-inch to like about a 60-inch bust. So that's something that I'm thinking about, and it's something that I didn't know about this pattern until after I had already started testing it. And that's not to say that that would have changed my mind or anything. I don't know, but I just wanted to make a little disclaimer here, especially because, like, you know, I knit things and I share them all with you, and I think often folks that watch the podcast will see something I'm wearing and think, like, I want to make that too, and I want to make things that other people, that my viewers can knit as well. And my viewers and like all of you come in all kinds of different sizes. So anyway, I really didn't mean for this to be a big thing. And I also, like, full transparency, there's a pattern that I cast on that I'm going to talk about later in the episode that is also not completely size inclusive. And that's disappointing to me, that especially these like really popular European designers are not doing a better job about making their patterns more inclusive. But I will always, from now on, you know, try to do my best to at least make a statement about it, about like whether the pattern is size inclusive or not, and go from there. So anyway, this is the Melides top, and it is a test knit, and let me talk a little bit about some of the sizing and stuff and the fit that I am not 100% happy with, but that I maybe would try to change if I was going to knit it again. So the only thing here that bothers me a little bit, I do think the straps sit a little bit wide, kind of like on the shoulders, and because of that, there's like a little bit of like kind of gaping. The armhole is a pretty like close fitting garment, so like around the bust, it's pretty like close to no ease, but the, like right at the armhole, right at the top of the armholes, it kind of like flares out a little bit. You can see if I go up a little bit more, you can kind of see it here, like the armholes just gape a little bit, and I know this is something that one of the other testers ran into as well, and so I don't know if this is something that the designer is planning to make a change in the pattern to make that a little bit better, just like fit-wise. I think if I were going to, I'm trying to think about what I would do to change it, to make it a little bit different. I think maybe doing like more gradual decrease around the armhole rather than doing a lot of it right at the beginning. I think maybe that would help a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if like doing decreases before the bind off, before you bind off for the armholes, if that would help at all. I haven't thought about it a ton, but that is one thing that is not completely satisfactory about the fit for this one. So, yeah. But it is a really nice, just like lightweight basic tank. I think it's really easy to just kind of throw on, and especially when it's hot, you know, it's nice to just toss a crop tank. I really like the length. So she doesn't have specific, like, in the pattern it doesn't say like you should knit it this length or whatever. There's kind of like a formula that you decide like how long you want it to be from your bust down. And I'm really happy with the length I chose. I think this is perfect, especially like I often will wear high-waisted shorts, and I think this is a really good length to go with high-waisted pants, high-waisted shorts. So yeah, I think I did mine like 7.5 inches from bust down. So if anyone else knits this pattern and wants to have a similar length to me. I have not put any of this information on Ravelry or anything yet. I'm actually pretty behind on doing that for my patterns. So, but I will try to do that. I'll go in and put all the information about like how long I knit it and what size and everything. I did knit, I think this is the second size. And I don't remember if I exactly got gauge or not. I think I was close. Maybe post-blocking I was a little bit off. But this was supposed to give me like a tiny bit, like 1/2 inch of negative ease, I believe, or like maybe 1/4 inch. But I believe I have close to no ease in the garment. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this one. It was a really quick knit. It only took 1 ball of yarn, and I actually have a little bit left over. So that's nice. Yeah, so that's that one. I have another finished object right here, which is another summer top. So I'm gonna pause and change into this one so you guys can see it on me as well. Okay, so this is the Moonset tee by Ozetta, and I've been working on this one for quite a while longer. So you guys, if you've been watching, you may remember this one. It is did I already say it's a pattern by Ozetta? I think I already said that. This is the Moonset tee. The yarn I used is Ovis, etc. in their Igneae base, and this is the clay colorway. So it is a combination of wool, Aimee, and silk. It's a fingering weight yarn. And the Aimee, if you are unfamiliar, is a plant fiber. I don't know the exact like properties of it or whatever, but I think, yeah, I mean, you can probably expect it to behave similar to like cotton or linen or bamboo. And yeah, I think it's really nice drape. I think it's really good for a summer tee. I had 2 skeins of it, and I used, let me see, I had just a tiny bit left of my second skein, so I used almost all of my 2 skeins. I knit, this is the second size, and I expected it to be a little bit closer fitting than it is. I think it just blocked out more than I expected. I did not block my swatch. I started knitting a swatch and measured my gauge and then pulled it out and cast on from there, and so I didn't block it. So I didn't really know exactly what to expect as far as the gauge is concerned, and it is a little bit larger than I was expecting. Not so large that I don't like it, like I think it's good, I did put it on this morning after it finished blocking and told my husband that I felt like Pacha from The Emperor's New Groove. So I really do like it. I think the neckline is really unique, but I don't know if I love it. I'm not in love with how I look in it, I guess. And maybe that's the color. Maybe it's because my face is kind of flushed right now because it's warm outside anyway, but I feel like the color... I talked about this in the last, or on a previous episode, that I don't really understand what people are saying about, like, you know, which colors look good on them and everything. And for some reason, I don't know, in this moment, looking at the TV screen, I'm just like, I don't know, maybe this isn't my color. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just because my face looks pink because it's hot outside. But yeah, I don't know. I really like the finished t-shirt, but I don't know if I love the way that I look or feel in it. If that makes any sense. I don't know. I need to wear it more and just like get a better feel for it because I haven't worn it a ton yet. I actually finished this yesterday, and the only good news about the heat here is that things block really quickly. So I just started blocking it like yesterday afternoon, and by this morning, I put it outside for a little bit yesterday, and by this morning it was dry. So that's, I mean, like fingering weight yarn too also. So let me squat a little bit so that you guys can see it. So yeah, it's a little bit of positive ease here. When I wear it, I'll probably kind of tuck it in to my pants like that. Yeah, this is it. This is a moonset tee, and just kind of, I don't know, I'm trying to like get comfortable in it. I don't know, I feel weird. For some reason I feel weird right now. I don't know if it's the t-shirt or I don't know. I'm having like... Okay. Hi, sorry. The camera must have known that I was feeling weird and maybe needed a moment because my battery just died, but I don't even really remember what I was trying to say. Maybe I'm just uncomfortable from how warm it is, but yeah, I don't know. I finished this one yesterday. It has I-cords around all the edging, so like on the sleeves and on the bottom of the shirt as well. And I was really worried that it was going to be too kind of like flowy on the bottom. And it was also like rolling up a ton before I blocked it. But after blocking, I think it's actually okay. Like I'm decently happy with the way that the bottom is, and the sleeves are nice and like close fitting to the arm and everything as well. So it's definitely really unique construction. The way that this like neckline was done is really fun and unique, and I think it's like a really cool shape. Yeah, so let me see. I'm not sure if I gave all the information I wanted to about this. This yarn is Ovis, Etc. Igneae. I knit the size 2, and I believe the pattern calls for a US size 3 needle, but I sized down to a 2.5, a US 2.5. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this. The yarn was pretty decent to work with, I will say. I think this is common for plant fibers in general. Like, it did kind of grate on my hands a little bit when I was knitting it. And the finished product, like the way that the yarn feels, it's not as soft as just like a merino wool. You know, it's like got a little bit of like itch to it. It's not like itchy, but it, you know, it doesn't feel like butter, I guess. But I think it's really nice and lightweight for summer. I think, yeah, the color I really like. So, I don't know. I guess that's all I really have to say about it. I don't mean to seem like out of it or grumpy. I don't know. For some reason when I put this on, I was just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just feeling weird about, I don't know, other stuff in general. I'm still kind of coming back from being sick, and just like talking for a while is hard. I still have a couple of lingering effects from being sick, like fatigue for sure, and anytime I like do anything, I get out of breath really quickly still. and if I talk for too long as well, I can definitely feel myself like getting kind of tired and out of breath. So maybe recording a podcast wasn't the like most amazing decision, but I feel like I could do it, and I think I can, and like maybe if I have to take breaks, I can. But yeah, that is my second finished object. That's all I finished in the last couple of weeks. I have cast on a couple of new things that I can share with you guys now. So I mentioned before that I cast on another summer top, and I've not done very much on this, but I did cast it on. So this is here. I've been mentioning this for a while. I think I shared the yarn on the podcast before, and my plans for like what I wanted to make with this. So this is Camisole number 5, which is a pattern by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And this is the one I was referring to as well earlier that is not completely size inclusive. So their size range, I don't remember how far it goes up. I think roughly 50-inch bust as well for this one. Now this one can be worn with tons of negative ease, so I think that makes it a little bit more, like the range a little bit more inclusive on the upper end, but yeah, still definitely not what we would like, and so that's definitely disappointing. I saw this pattern and like fell in love with it. I've seen like a ton of other people knitting it this summer, and definitely wanted to make one for myself, and it's a huge bummer that it's not more inclusive. So just a disclaimer here. The yarn I'm using is Aimee, and this is Cashmerino, which is a merino wool and cashmere. And does it have nylon? I don't think I have the label here, so I don't actually know. I think it may just be wool and cashmere. Maybe it has some nylon in it as well. I don't remember. But the colorway is Yellow Brick Road, and I really love this color of yellow. It's like a mustard, but like a little greenier and brighter. And I don't know, I'm just really leaning into how much I've been loving yellow recently. I was working on like my stripy top that is in testing right now, and the testing is going really great. But that had some mustard in it, and I just really loved that. And I knit a yellow sweater, my Birch pullover by Igneae. I knit that recently. I'm just really feeling mustard. I'm feeling yellow, so I think I just always need to have something yellow on my needles. I don't know, I feel like it's just bringing me a lot of joy. It's like a very joyful color for me. So yes, this is the Camisole number 5, and so this is just, I think this may be the right strap, kind of. I think it just goes like this. So I still need to do the left one, and then I guess, you know, knit the whole thing. Knit the rest of it is what I need to do. So I've not made very much progress on this. I barely just worked on this for like no time at all. So I need to keep working on it. So maybe I'll finish that. It feels like it's going to be a really quick knit. I think I'll be able to do it with just one skein of yarn as well. I think the yarn requirements actually says, and I didn't even realize this, I was talking to my friend Maya about making this as well. She's considering making one too, and I was like, yeah, I just have this one skein of yarn, and she's like, did you look at the yarn requirements? Like, it definitely requires more than one skein of yarn. I was like, that didn't even occur to me. I don't know why. I was just like, no, it's fine. Like, one skein is plenty. I only have one skein of this yarn, so like there's no, you know, getting an, I mean, I guess I could probably get another one if I needed to, but yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna do the best with the one skein of yarn that I have, and so luckily it's top down, so I will probably just, I know there's some finishing you have to do around the neck and armholes, so as soon as I finish knitting the armholes and like join for the body under the arm, I will probably do all the finishing at the top, so like around the neck and the armholes, and then I can knit the body as long as I can, and I'll just keep going until I run out of yarn. And I don't think it'll be like a bra. Like, I think I'll have enough for it to be like at least, you know, like a cropped tank. But I may not get a full length tank, but that's fine. Like, I don't need for it to be, like I mentioned before, I almost always wear like high-waisted shorts and pants, and like with skirts and stuff too, I think it'll be totally fine for it to be a little bit shorter. It's just a matter of how short. So, yeah, we'll see, but I feel like that one will be really quick. And then the only other thing I've been working on, this one I actually cast on yesterday. I finished, let me grab it here. I finished the first sock of my brother's socks a while ago, and I just cast on the second one yesterday. So this was the finished one, and here is the second one. And I haven't done a ton on this, but just a little bit. The yarn here is from the Grenouille. This is a 2021 Advent, I believe. The colorway is Wolf's Bane, and it is, I've described this color so many times. It's just a really pretty, like, gray, brown, blue is the best that I can say. It's like all of those colors together, gray, brown, and blue, in like equal parts. And sometimes when you're knitting it, you even get like little bits of purple, it feels like almost. But this was one that my brother picked out when he was visiting. I brought up like an armful of single skeins of sock yarn and was like, which of these do you like? And he liked this one. So I've knit a pair of socks for him before. I knit a pair of red socks. And so he was looking for something a little different and maybe like a little more neutral. Very adult thing, I feel like, to want neutral socks. But yeah, I thought this was a great choice that he made. And the yarn feels really good too. It's an 8515 Merino nylon sock yarn, which is just a really nice and soft base. And I'm actually starting to put together a fun project using the rest of this Advent. So I did share about this on Instagram. Unfortunately, once I get started on this, I won't be, I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Once I get started on this project, I won't be able to share it really because it's a secret. It'll be a secret for a while, so I won't be able to share it until later in the year. But I am working on a fun surprise project. And, I mean, I guess you guys kind of already know that I'm doing an Advent design collaboration this year, and so I'm getting started on the sample for that. So I'm going to use, for my first sample, I'm going to use the Grenouille Advent that I got last year, and I'm going to start working on that project, and I'm really excited. I pulled all my Advent minis out and was kind of like rearranging them and getting them in the right order and everything, and I think it's gonna be really fun. I don't know, I feel like summer is the right time for Advent projects. You're like halfway between when you opened it and when you're gonna get your next one, I guess, and so it feels like a good time to just like really sink into using those minis. I love mini skeins. They're so fun. The only thing I don't like about them is it feels like so much winding of yarn. And like, I know it's probably like, it's not more winding than if you're winding full skeins, but it's just like, oh my gosh, I have 20 of these mini skeins that I have to wind up. Whereas it's like roughly the same amount of yarn as like, what, are they 10 gram minis? So 20 of them is the same as like 2 skeins of yarn. No, they're 20 gram minis, right? So it's like 4 skeins of yarn. But either way, it feels like a lot more work to wind them. I guess you have to like put it on the winder and then take it off and like do that more times. So maybe it is a little bit more work. Anyway, sorry, that doesn't matter. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been working on. I'm excited to get started on that project, and then I have a couple of other like sweater projects that I'm really excited to get started on, but I need to go to work to get the yarn. And I was sick last week, so I didn't go to work. So, and by work, I mean, if you are new here, I work at a yarn store. I work at La Mercerie in Poulsbo, Washington. And yeah, I have to get some yarn from there, but I have not been to work in a couple weeks. So hopefully I will be all good to go in this week, and I'll be able to go. to the store and get some more yarn. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have as far as knitting and crafting goes. I don't have any acquisitions. I really have been, I don't know what came over me, but my self-control when it comes to yarn purchasing is like at an all-time high. It's unbelievable. I don't know why, like I just, for some reason, I don't know if it's like I went through and I was looking at my stash yarn, but for some reason I'm just like, I don't want to buy any more yarn because that just pushes off when I'm able to use the yarn that I already have in my stash that I love. Like I have so much yarn that I really, really love and I really want to use. And if I keep buying yarn, then I won't be able to use all the yarn I have in as soon or as quickly or whatever. So, yeah, I haven't been really buying the yarn. So I'm happy about working through the yarn that I have. Okay. I feel like that's pretty much it for like yarn stuff. I do have an acquisition of a plant, which I can show you and I forgot to grab, so I'm gonna go do that quickly. Okay, so this is this month's plant. I love this one. So those of you that are new, my mom got me a plant subscription last December for Christmas, and every month I just get a new plant that arrives at my door. And this is my plant for, I guess this is July's plant, and I don't know what it is. This one, I should use the app that I used last time to figure it out. Oh, one of my leaves kind of died. I'm going to pull that out. Yes, I don't know what type of plant this is. So anyone who is good at identifying plants and knows what this is, please let me know. But I will probably just put it in my app like I did last time and see what it says. But I got this fun little hanging planter. It was on sale. I went to a nursery in Seattle, a plant nursery with my friend on my birthday, and I got a couple of planters when I was there, and this was one of them, so I put it in this fun little hanging planter. I have not hung it yet. It's just still sitting. I was going to hang it in my bedroom, but I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. But this one's really fun. I don't know, I really like the variegation in the leaves. And I like the larger leaves too. They're kind of dirty. I feel like I need to wipe the leaves down. I never do that. I'm not, like, I really like my plants, but I'm not a very good and responsible plant parent. I don't do, like, all the things, like cleaning their leaves and, like, checking for pests and stuff. Like, I'm doing good if they are watered. Then I'm, like, feeling good. So that is my only acquisition, is a plant acquisition, and I didn't even really buy it. So pretty good on the acquisition front. Let's see. Other life things. So I had shared with you all that I was heading to, that my husband and I were heading to Oregon for a weekend trip. And Noctis was out of town last week, and he came back from, he was back home visiting. He was actually at like a conference in Oklahoma. He was actually, the conference he was at was for the, I think I talked about this last time, was for the, the conference is like for, sorry, I'm like stumbling over my words a lot right now. It's the Global Conference on Educational Robotics. It's put on by the people, it's like a robotics competition. So BotBall is what we call the program. And this is the same robotics program, like, club that Noctis and I met at in middle school. And he's still, like, really involved and volunteers a ton for them. And so he went to their conference, and it was in Norman, Oklahoma. And so he was visiting there, and then he came back on Thursday night, and I had gotten home from work on Thursday night, and then we left to go to Oregon on Friday. And Noctis started feeling sick on our trip, and so we ended up cutting our trip a little bit short and coming home, but we still did get to do a couple things in Oregon before he got sick. So on Friday we left and we drove down, we stopped and ate lunch and like walked on the beach, And I just love the ocean. I don't know. I know I live close to it here in Seattle, but the beaches here are pretty different. They're a lot like rockier, and the access to the ocean is not like your standard kind of sandy beach, but you just go down a little bit to Oregon and there's tons of nice sandy beaches. And so we went down, we stopped, ate lunch, we brought like a little cooler and had sandwiches and stuff, and we went and walked on the beach, and that was so nice. And then we went to this little town called Seaside, and we rented a tandem bike for the first time. Neither one of us had ever done a tandem bike before with anyone, with each other, with anyone else. And it definitely, there was a learning curve. I think, like, riding a bike is such a balancing act, I guess is what I'll say. Like, it requires really good balance for you to, especially to get going. Like, once you're going, I think it's easier, but to get going especially, it requires like a ton of balance. And it's really hard to get started when there's a ton of weight elsewhere on the bike that you are not used to, that you don't expect, especially, I will say, if that weight is moving. So, like, I was in the front for most of the time when we did it, and only the person in the front is steering. So I felt like, you know, since I was in the front, I really needed to get us started. And anytime Novice would make even a very small movement, it would like throw everything off. And the tricky part, and I did not have enough respect for him at the beginning when we were doing this. So like, I was in the front first and he was in the back. And I was like, you have to stop moving. Like, this is crazy. And I think later we switched and I was in the back, and I was like, okay, I understand. Because if you don't have the steering wheel in front of you, you don't have the handlebars, there's nothing, like, if you feel like things are off balance, the only thing you have is your body. And so I felt when he was in the front, he was trying to get us started, and I was in the back, if it felt wobbly at all to me, I was using my body to try to like get us back on track, and that is not what you should do, because of course he was in the front and he was like, you are like making us up anyway. It was, I don't know if any of you have ridden in a tandem bike before, but I think what Nafis and I realized about each other through this experience was we love each other so much, and we're not bike compatible. And that's something that we just like accepted. I think the way that we go about riding a bike is different, which seems weird to think about that as being something that could be like, you know, different. But anyway, we did actually like, we got going and we rode around and it was fine. Turning, stopping, getting started again, those things were sometimes difficult, but we did have some success. So I'm really proud of that. That's what I told Nafis too, is like, it's even more impressive that we were able to do that successfully, considering that we're not bike compatible. So I don't know if if we should actually be proud of ourselves, but we did do it. So so we did that, and then we went to Tillamook Creamery, which is a really large, just like dairy creamery that's based in Tillamook, Oregon. And they make like cheese and ice cream and everything, and we went and we learned about how cheese is made, and we got ice cream, and it was really tasty, and we tried a couple flavors, and then we actually ended up going back there again the next day and getting more ice cream. We did a hike on Saturday as well, and it was on this like cape kind of, so we walked out like all the way so that we could see like the ocean kind of all around us. And that was really cool, and we got some more beach time on Saturday as well. And then that's when I started to start feeling bad. It was like on Saturday going into Sunday, and so we ended up coming back. So we did cut our trip a little bit short, and then I got sick and started feeling bad on Monday, and then we were both sick for a while, and we're both doing much better now. So yeah, that was our Oregon trip. I talked about my new plant. otherwise, like, there's not a ton that we've been up to because we've been sick. But we did make brunch today, so we were kind of doing easy meals and stuff when we were sick. And now that we felt well enough, we wanted to make a brunch together. So this morning we made biscuits and gravy, which is my favorite brunch that we make. I was talking to Nacht this morning, we were eating it. I was like, I don't know how we got good at this, but I feel like we got really good at making biscuits and gravy. So I always make the biscuits, Nacht makes the gravy, and then we had some really fresh fruit, like seasonal fruit, strawberries and peaches. So tasty. I love peaches. Like, a good peach is definitely my favorite fruit. Yeah, just really good. So we had that this morning, and that was really tasty. I talked about the heat wave. It's hot. So we sat outside for brunch this morning, but it was a little warm. But we're going to grill tonight, so we're going to make... Oh, shoot! I forgot about this. I need to marinate the chicken. Alright, I'm going to do that right after I'm done recording. Good. I'm glad I started talking about this, because now I'll remember. But we're going to have some grilled chicken and veggies, and I did make some sourdough bread today, which is probably not the best idea to crank my oven up to 500 and make bread in like the hottest day of the year. It's so hot in here, guys. Like, I feel like I need to, I don't know, go for a swim. But we are gonna have bruschetta with fresh bread. So hopefully when I'm eating the bruschetta, I will feel like it's worth it that I made our house so hot by running the oven. But I don't know. We are going to grill tonight, so we're not going to use the oven anymore. We're going to go outside and have a really nice outdoor dinner. And once the sun goes down, I guess the sun won't go down. So, okay, let's think about this. Our house, we live in a duplex that's like split front and back. And so we have a front yard. We have the front yard of the house is ours that has like a little deck area and a table out there. And our side of the house faces east. So we get most of our sun in the morning. So when we were out there this morning, it was really sunny. But in the evening, even before the sun sets, the house is like blocking the sun, so it's not too bad. So I think when we go out this evening and we're grilling and stuff, it won't be, like, we'll definitely have shade, and I don't think it will feel nearly as hot. So at least that's what I'm hoping for. It'll be nice out there. But we also, for my birthday, my mom got me these solar lights, like string lights that I hung up around, like, on the fence outside, so we can stay out, especially since it's going to be nice and cool. Well, after the sun sets, I think it'll be nice and cool. Or at least, like, I mean, it's not going to be cold, but it won't be as hot, and I think it'll be temperate. I think it'll be nice outside. So we'll probably go out and sit outside in the evening after dinner, because it'll be warm but not too warm. And we have lights now, so we can sit out there and maybe knit and eat some ice cream and chat outside. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I should probably stop talking now because I'm starting to feel kind of tired, and I also need to go marinate the chicken, and I need to take the dog on a walk. So lots of things that I need to do. But thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know why, like, halfway through I felt like I got really out of sorts, and I'm sorry for that. And I don't really understand why or what happened to me. But I appreciate you guys tuning in for sure. I'm sorry if this was like a weird episode, but hopefully I'll be back next week with more knits and fun stuff. And yeah, I guess I don't, this isn't that noteworthy, but I have been watching a lot of baseball. Nalphys and I watched a ton of baseball when we were sick. Unfortunately, it was the All-Star break, so there was less baseball when we were sick, but we did watch the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby, and just shout out to my man Julio Rodriguez, who is truly just the star of my heart. I love him so much. I was with the Mariners when we signed him. For those of you that don't know, I used to work for the Seattle Mariners as an analyst, and Julio Rodriguez has always been one of my favorite players. I've met him several times, but I played just like office basketball, like one of those like crappy basketball hoops. I played with him. I beat him. So that was really fun, but he is truly just like a gem. He's like the happiest guy. He has like such a good mentality about it, and he's a rookie this year. He started with the team on opening day with the Mariners, and he has been just incredible. And he was in the home run derby, and he came in second place to Juan Soto, which, like, you know, there are worse things. Juan Soto is also incredible, but he is just so much fun, and I'm so glad that he, like, did so well and was so fun, and people got to see him, and so hopefully other people now are seeing Julio and are, like, excited about him and celebrating him as well. But the Mariners have been on an incredible stretch. Before the All-Star break, they went on a 14-game win streak, which is amazing, and then they promptly came back after the break and got swept by the Astros, so not what you want, but they won last night. So, yeah, it's been really fun. The Mariners have been playing really well, and they've got a lot of really fun young talent, and I am just really looking forward to being able to go back to the ballpark. I feel like the timing has not worked for us well. Like, we've been out of town when the team is here, and, like, with other stuff going on, we haven't been able to go to nearly as many baseball games, but hopefully soon, in the coming weeks, we'll get to go to some more. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I know I don't really talk about baseball nearly as much on the podcast anymore, but it's just been too fun not to mention. So yeah, that's all I've got for today. I hope you watch lots of baseball and do lots of knitting and have a great week. Bye.